Well, that's strange. Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Happy first announcement of Halloween Horror Nights 2018 week. Folks have been asking us, I mean literally tens of people have been asking us to do a Halloween Horror Nights video to talk about rumors or what do we think is coming to the event, and getting in the spirit of Halloween Horror Nights. We're at the 6-month point, kind of like halfway point into where Halloween is going to happen in 2018. Spooky Empire is about to happen this weekend. That's usually like the 6-month point for Spring Spooky, and we have our first announcement for Halloween Horror Nights 2018. I don't believe that they're calling themselves like Halloween Horror Nights 28 any longer. I think they're trying to drop the number and just look at it for you know, the year at this point. But it's a shared property between Orlando and Hollywood, and it's Stranger Things. I'm sure most folks know that Stranger Things is coming. It was, you know, the rockets and parade and fanfare went off this week when Stranger Things was confirmed. I think this was one of those not so well kept secrets, but also one of those properties that people had really been clamoring for since the show started on Netflix. Although the show on Netflix has completed season 2, the house that will be at Halloween Horror Nights will only be based off of season 1. And what the Universal Horror Nights Twitter account has confirmed so far is that the scenes that we'll see within the house are Mirkwood, Hawkins National Laboratory, the Upside Down, and the Byers home. And that's just what they've planned so far. I imagine that we'll see a lot of Demogorgons, you know, but I'm not really sure how the house will translate to kind of like a horror type house. I think this is more in line with like what we saw a couple years ago with Alien vs. Predator, where for me, I'm not sure if the same is for you, I don't class Stranger Things as a horror type of property. I think of it more as like sci-fi or you know, kind of an adventure type property. But I think it'll be really cool for fans of the show, and I'm sure it's going to bring in tons of people into the event, new eyes to Halloween Horror Nights, to experience Stranger Things. It is a runaway phenomena where you know, as far as binge watching goes, folks wait for the season to drop, and then they're powering through all of the episodes within the season. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do for the house. The other thing that's interesting to me is that while we had the Walking Dead house, you know, repeat for many years at Halloween Horror Nights, we never had the face characters from The Walking Dead represented in the house. We do have those characters represented in the American Horror Story property house that's appeared multiple years. So I'm wondering if we'll have, you know, kind of like the versions of the kids throughout the house as well, unless we just have kind of like the you know, the monster along the way. But I'm very anxious to see what they do. Universal are masters at working with acquired intellectual property houses, and Stranger Things should be a real treat, even if it's just a sci-fi based house, to be able to kind of peep out all of the eye candy that is going to be in that house. And I think before we get into any rumors or speculation, what we can talk about so far, because we haven't done a video about Halloween Horror Nights at all for this year since we left off at Halloween Horror Nights 27 or 2017, we do know that the event is running this year, and I am cheating by reading off of crib notes here. The event is running from September 14th through November 3rd. So the event is going to go beyond Halloween again this year. And it is running more nights, I think, this year than it did in prior years. So there's an awful lot of nights that scare actors will be working the event. So please take it easy on these folks that are going to be giving their heart and soul out to you guys on so many nights. And we know from the Universal blog that they confirmed they will have 9 houses this year and 5 scare zones. And tickets for the event, they started putting out this buy one, get one free deal, where at least you can buy single day tickets at this point. You can buy one day, and then you can get another day for free. So the day that you're buying, you get to come back again within Sunday to Friday, and for the 2-day ticket package, it's $78. That ticket deal is going to expire on June 8th. So they've pushed out, these single date tickets for sale, and the only tickets that they've put for sale at this point are Sunday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and that's where the BOGO, buy one get one free deal takes place. So you buy one day, and you can come back again through to the length of the event, but that deal will expire in June. You should keep that in mind. One thing that has not come out yet are these frequent fear or rush of fear type packages that we see every year, and they typically release the details around those packages sometime in like May or June, I believe. What's curious this year is that this is the first time that they've done this sale type deal for these buy one get one free tickets, and I speculated on Twitter the other day whether if folks may think that this could spell the end for multi-date tickets like Rush of Fear or Frequent Fear. And although Universal hasn't alluded to anything like that yet, I know that they suffered the last couple of years with, sure it's not a suffering for them, tremendous crowds that were at the event, and folks complaining, especially towards the end of the event, on social media endlessly about the waits for houses, whether it was the standard waits or even the express waits, and the lines were just massively packed. I know that there were rumors in years past that Universal was looking at potentially trying to change up the way that they approach their ticketing, and quite honestly, personally, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Universal move more towards like a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party type ticketing system, where you can buy one day, and if you want to come back, you buy another day separately, and they don't have these multi-day ticket packages. So nothing like that has been confirmed. It's only what I've thought to date. But right now, if you're interested in buying tickets and getting ahead of the game, they have that buy one get one free package that's out for sale, and like I said, it's until June 8th. I do anticipate that the multi-date tickets, if they do offer them, or any announcements around them not offering them, would not happen until after that deal expires. So it's kind of like one of those things of, do you jump in on the deal early, or do you risk it and wait to see if they offer something in the future? So aside from Stranger Things being announced, there has not been any other formal announcements about any properties that would be used this year for houses at Halloween Horror Nights 2018. There is a lot of speculation around a lot of IPs that have been thrown out there so far, and we can talk through some of them here. But just remember, this is speculation or rumor. I really hate dealing in rumor because folks will always assume that this is fact going forward. But we're going to talk through some of these properties that have been at least kind of discussed about or brought out about in forums or in conversations and things within the community. I would be remiss if I didn't say the number one property that folks have talked about this year happening is It, based off of the incredibly popular movie that was out last year, Stephen King's It, Pennywise. Tremendous movie, but we're still waiting for part 2 of that movie to come out. So I think we would be dealing with a house, if this was to come to fruition, that was just based off of the childhood journey of our heroes versus the clown up to the end. I think it would be a fantastic house, but I'm not sure that Universal or the property holders would want to move forward with only having a house based off of the first movie without having the second movie at least locked in, or a key to be able to develop like maybe a house next year based off of the sequel, etc. And I'm not sure that the stars have aligned. I'm hearing a lot of pushback on the interwebs right now about it not taking place, but potentially being replaced with a ground up IP from Universal's creative team, which this has happened before. Years back, Universal was due to have a house based off of Scream. It didn't happen. We got The Purge instead. Last year, we were supposed to have a scene around Ouija in the Blumhouse house. That didn't happen. We ended up getting Purge again. But I don't think we're going to get The Purge this time around if it doesn't happen. I think what we've seen out there in social media land is kind of these rumors around potentially bringing like Lost Boys, or if not specifically the Lost Boys, to Halloween Horror Nights, then kind of like a vamp or a hive type of vampire house based off of like 1985, you know, or 1984 type of characters that would be vampires. So I think that would go over fantastic. I'm not sure that I wouldn't actually prefer that house, especially if it was the specific Lost Boy brand. I'm a big fan of that movie and that property, instead of it. But we'll see. American Horror Story is slated to come back. I know that when the first year of American Horror Story at Universal was presented a couple of years ago, it was done so that they had done this 3-year deal with FX or Fox to present American Horror Story. This year, logically, American Horror Story would be cult, although it could be some type of super house if they did kind of like all of the seasons together. Or, I'm not sure how the Disney acquisition of Fox properties will play into the availability of American Horror Story as a property out there for it to be used at Halloween Horror Nights. I'm anxious to see where this goes. American Horror Story is one of the favorite TV shows of at least my wife and daughter in this house, so I'm sure they're anxiously waiting to see if American Horror Story will be back. We've enjoyed the house. I've never watched the show, but I still have enjoyed the houses. The last 2 years, they're some of the most elaborate houses that have been designed, and they're very enjoyable to go through, regardless of seeing the TV show or not. And let's talk about the return of Blumhouse. Blumhouse last year was a mix of multiple Blumhouse properties, including Sinister, which I was very happy about the movie Sinister being included because of Bagul. This year, I have heard rumblings of maybe Blumhouse returning as Blumhouse and including the upgraded or updated Halloween 2. If folks don't know, there is a brand new Halloween movie that is in development. I believe it's fully shot and it's being edited at this point, and it will basically replace all of the other Halloween movies outside of the original Halloween 1. So this will take place effectively in the storyline instead of Halloween 2, which ironically Universal presented 2 years ago at Halloween Horror Nights. I would expect to probably see either Halloween House this year standalone based off of the Blumhouse Halloween movie, or having elements of that new Halloween movie included in the new Blumhouse. I would prefer to see things maybe in a Blumhouse compilation again, because we didn't get Happy Death Day in Orlando, and you know, we ended up with other properties. I think that there's a lot to be done in a compilation house and be able to have different movies from scene to scene. That part of the house, especially for quick attention, you know, little snack-sized pieces, is pretty awesome. There are also rumors out there that Trick or Treat, which was the scare zone of the year last year at Halloween Horror Nights 27, would be moving into a house this year. And I've heard pluses and minuses about that actually happening. Personally, I'm not so sure that I want to see the same property that we already saw last year in a really well done capacity where it was outside, where I think, you know, it really fit outside because the movie takes place along the doorsteps like they had it, moving it inside. But Trick or Treat is one of the properties that had been rumored out there, as well as some type of classic monster house. So we have Universal basically sitting on the properties of all of these Universal classic monsters, like Frankenstein and Dracula, and the Wolfman and the Mummy, etc. Those characters were phenomenal in the street, going back to the die-in in Halloween Horror Nights 25. I'd love to see them back in a house. If they could bring back those monsters every year, I wouldn't complain. I think it's one of those fun properties to be able to experience. But that is one of the properties that has been thrown out there. And then there's more properties that, from what I have been seeing or trying to follow, rumors online, don't seem like they're happening. One of which is really disappointing to me, and that was Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. That's my personal favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie outside of the original. I think that resonates with me because I was a kid of the 80s, and I love the storyline and the characters of that movie, especially tying it back in with the Dokken Dream Warriors song. But if that was to happen, I could imagine that being a very quick favorite of mine to be able to go through on a nightly basis if they have multi-night tickets, of course. But we're hearing that that was not in the cards for this year. Conjuring, we've also heard would potentially not be happening this year. That was one of the items that's been put out there in rumors, as well as The Thing. I think The Thing may be happening in California from what we're seeing in rumors, but we're not seeing that for the Orlando houses. And I think last but not least it was a bit more of a stretch from what I'm seeing out there was at the movie Aliens. We had an Alien versus Predator house at Halloween Horror Nights a couple years ago, like I mentioned, with Stranger Things. Not very much a horror type movie to me, very much a sci-fi movie. Kind of weird. We might as well have like a Starship Trooper house if we're getting into that kind of realm. But those are kind of the big IP properties. I'll be honest, when we go to the events, whether it's at Universal or kind of, I think why we gravitate towards Howl-O-Scream a lot lately is because it's ground up properties and things that creative team has come up with from their own imaginations. Those type of properties don't generally generate the same type of excitement as far as leaks coming out. We're going to develop this or develop that, but those are generally the things that I'm looking forward to more than a Stranger Things or more than American Horror Story or Halloween, etc. Because I love to see what the team is able to come up with. Last year we had Scarecrow. From the moment that we had heard that Scarecrow was going to be a house and a property to be included in Halloween Horror Nights last year, that was the house to look forward to, and it delivered. It was an amazing house. Loved going through that house last year. Loved going through Fallen. And those were properties that we didn't need a blockbuster Hollywood movie or television show to put us in that frame. But I get it. The IPs bring people into the event. But hardcore people that are looking for scares, I think, gravitate more towards ground up properties. And we'll talk about two final things here to wrap up. Obviously, Bill and Ted not coming back this year, and that's a big disappointment, I think, to a lot of folks that really love to attend Halloween Horror Nights specifically for that type of show. I am hearing this year that there would be two brand new shows, which also means that Academy of Villains, from what I'm hearing in rumors, I'm going to emphasize this again, was not a returning property in 2018 as well. So we may see two brand new type of street shows. The street shows are actually the thing that continue to keep making me come back to the event, but besides the scare zones themselves, because I think you can absorb a lot more time, especially if you have a multi-day pass, going to scare zones and going to the shows and enjoying things instead of waiting in line for houses. I'm not sure if there'll be an icon this year. It's kind of funny, we're drinking out of my cup with icons on it. Although it has been floated out there that there would be an overall theme for the event. And I'd really look forward to an overall theme again. I don't think that last year, the unofficial, unofficial icon of Big Bone Daddy tied the event together, maybe the way that folks hoped that it would. And I think the year before with Chance, I don't think it was executed as well as it could have been, the previous year with Jack. I'd love to see the return of Jack. I don't think that we're seeing the return of Jack. I think that Jack comes back in a couple more years for Halloween Horror Nights 2020, for the 30th. And maybe we could see like a director or an usher or something this year. That would be fantastic. But that's all of the speculation and news that I have to share for folks. I feel bad because everyone keeps asking to do these Halloween Horror Nights videos, and there's not a lot of details to put out there. And I feel like, there are a bunch of people that put out videos that ticket prices were announced for this, or this one house was announced, or this one thing, and I'd rather wait until there's enough tangible information to share with folks. So this is a first to be able to share type of speculation. If you like this type of video, I guess let me know. What would you like to see at Halloween Horror Nights 2018? What's the one property that you want to see you know, let me know in the comments below, and maybe we can talk about it further in another video the next time that we have some more tangible news to share. So I'm very interested to hear what everybody's thoughts are. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all of your likes and your comments and your subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. We'll see you guys. Subscribe to the cheap seats, otherwise he'll be looking in your dreams for you. Subscribe to the cheap seats, or he's gonna kill me.